Okay, dear students, now I would like to take few examples for you. Read the following sentences and state whether they are simple, compound, or complex. Number 1. Alice and James went to the park in the evening. Now, students, if you look carefully, this and is not a conjunction. We saw in fanboys wherein A stands for and, but here it is not a conjunction. Conjunction means something that joins sentences. So this is not a compound, this is a simple sentence. Some students may get confused and they just write it down, it's a compound sentence. But if you see carefully, Alice and James went to the park in the evening. This is one complete sentence, that is one IC. So it is a simple sentence. Number second, as soon as the dog saw its master, comma, it started wagging its tail. Now if you see carefully, this is DC. If you see carefully, this is an IC. So DC comma IC, it is a complex sentence. And as such, as soon as, it is one of the subordinators. Subordinator means complex sentence. Number third, the farmer took good care of the cows. This is a simple sentence. Number 4. Raj liked the watch which. Now if you see carefully, this is one of the relative pronoun. So it will be a complex sentence. Number 5. The house was so beautiful that he decided to buy it. Again I have a relative pronoun. So it is a complex. Next, although. Now sometimes students, what happen, the moment you start a sentence you may come across a word, it could be one of the subordinators. So in that case we need not read the entire sentence, but since we are learning, so let us read the entire sentence. Although it was a sunny day, this is one of the DC. We did not go out, IC. So it is a complex. Number 7. Ernest Hemingway wrote the novel The Old Man at the Sea. This is a simple sentence. No conjunction. Remember one thing, a simple sentence, neither it will have coordinator nor it will have subordinator. Number 8. I was quite impressed with her performance. This is a simple sentence. Number 9. The artist hoped that, one of the relative, all the paintings would be sold. Complex. Number 10. We were playing in the garden when the guests arrived. This is a relative, so it will be a complex. I can't figure out what, one of the relative. As I said earlier, students, relative pronoun starts with W and that is also one of the relative pronouns. So just don't forget that. Complex. Number 12. You don't look happy to see me. No coordinator, no subordinator. So it is a simple sentence. Remember one thing, simple sentence is always a simple. The cat saw the puppies playing in the garden. It is a simple sentence. She leaned out of the window. It is a simple sentence. Number 15. You shouldn't have done this to me. It's a simple sentence. They tried very hard, but they couldn't win the match. Now, students, please look carefully. This is IC number 1, that is independent clause. They couldn't win the match, IC number 2. This is coordinator. So remember, two ICs joined by any one of the fanboys, it is a compound sentence. Who let the cat in? This is a very simple sentence, so it is a simple sentence. No coordinator, no subordinator. Although it was raining. Now students starting with although, one of the subordinator, so it is a complex. Now dear students, remember one thing. I had a sentence, who let the cat in. Who cannot be a relative pronoun. I'll just give a simple hint. A relative pronoun is always a word which joins the sentences. So here who is not a relative pronoun, but it is a simple sentence. So now let me have a quick recap of what we have had learned today. Now, simple sentence, remember it is always simple, having no coordinator, no subordinator, having just one clause, that is subject and predicate, and it can stand on its own. It is totally independent. I'll quickly take you to compound sentence. Remember a compound sentence having two ICs, that is independent clause. Independent clause means a clause which has totally complete meaning in it. It can stand on its own. It doesn't depend on others. It compound sentences always have coordinators, fanboys, for and nor, but, or, yet, so. That is compound sentence. Remember one thing, a compound sentence will have IC only, no DC, no dependent clause. Now, complex sentence means having one IC, that is independent clause, and one or maybe more than that, one DC, that is dependent clause. If a sentence begins with DC followed by IC, it will have comma, that is DC comma IC. And if a sentence begins with IC followed by DC, it would not have comma, that is IC DC. Now, DC means dependent clause. It means a subordinate clause. It is incomplete meaningful sentence. Now, here we have few subordinators. They can also be renamed as subordinating conjunction. Let's have a quick look at some of them. Unless, whereas, whose, whoever, though, when. We also have some more as, because, since, after, although, though. Many more I would be sharing in the next lecture. We also have something like relative pronouns, especially as I gave hint earlier, the words starting with W. If you come across certain words starting with W, they all are relative pronouns. Okay, so my dear students, this was about simple, compound and complex sentences. I hope rules are pretty clear about simple, compound and complex. Hope you will find it useful while practicing. I'm gonna share few examples in a form of worksheet and please solve it. Any confusion, I'll always be there to help you out. Thank you everyone and have a great evening.